So ChatGPT can give creative ideas for parents and their children. It's a great resource. It's a tool. It allows for strategies. So in this demonstration, I'm going to give you some prompts, the input for ChatGPT so that you can get an output and some ideas on how to use ChatGPT as a helpful resource and to make sure you don't take the creativity, the imagination, and the knowledge and just the idea of integrating all of that with ChatGPT, because when a child loses their own processing or their own voice, because ChatGPT doesn't have an emotion attached to it, well, so we say, I mean, the programmers had emotions when they were creating the background to ChatGPT, but we want to make sure that we increase the creativity and the imagination of children. And to do that, this is a resource. So working with your child on how to put the inputs in or the prompts is imperative. I don't necessarily think you should put this in front of a child or a student where they're just on their own and then letting ChatGPT do the assignment on their own. But it can help you with outlining and organizing your mind, because for those of you that were in high school or college, you had someone that read through your work and they gave it back to you for edits. And you may have even had what we call exemplars, meaning someone gave you a finished product before you started so you can see work that is exemplary before you start. And we do that. We as educators give students access to, look, this is a great piece of writing. This is the expectation. I don't want you to write exactly the way this student did, but I want you to have a thought process behind your creativity. So if you're an educator or even a teacher, we need to figure out how we can use this as a tool, as a resource, and make sure we don't take creativity, voice, and imagination away from students. So let's jump in to ChatGPT and see what we can find out with some of the prompts that I created for you. ChatGPT can be a great tool for parents to assist their children with their homework. It can help guide the student through problems, provide hints and suggestions to keep them on track. It can even act as an idea generator when it comes to creative projects. Now, as parents, think about that science project that you're always thinking about. This AI assistant also works collaboratively with the child so that they can maintain control over their work while getting assistance from a knowledgeable source. Now, I know that is a huge concern when it comes to creativity, innovation, and imagination. And AI, it sometimes feels like it's going to be taken away from them. So here are some things that I want to offer you. This is the ChatGPT website, chat.openai.com. There are other chatbots out there, but this one has taken the world by storm. I've said that a few times. So what you will want to do is provide a prompt. Maybe your child, your student has a science fair project coming up. Maybe there's an assignment and they just can't seem to get themselves organized. So I've created a few prompts and I put them in Evernote. I love Evernote. Organizes everything for you. And I'm going to copy it. Write a story about a time you faced a difficult challenge. So I'm going to Control C, and then I'm going to Control V and just hit enter. I'm going to let ChatGPT give me some information. Now notice that it's given you an idea of what to do. Now it says write a story. Now it's writing the story, but what I would argue is that when you see this, you're like, well, it tells me that it doesn't really experience emotions. And I've talked about that, but it's given you a story. So what you could do is read the story and allow your child to see what the ChatGPT or chatbot is saying for this situation. But what you can do is say, I didn't really want that. What I wanted was an outline. I am looking for an outline for a narrative story. Like you can even add. So try this, because it will write your story because that's what I asked it to do. But this is perfect. It's giving you now an outline, an introduction, setting, characters, background, rising action, conflict, or challenge introduced, obstacles faced by the protagonist. Now we're using language of the discipline. Tension builds, climax, falling action, resolution, and conclusion. This is like a personal tutor. It wrote a story like, okay, now you could even ask it to, if you wanted to, you could say, using that outline, can you tell me how this integrates with the story above? Because it will tell you what was the protagonist in that story, what is the resolution in this story, and what's the conclusion. So you can interact. It's like having a personal peer-to-peer conversation with, obviously, AI, a chatbot. So that's one example of what you can do. Example number 2. Now, if I put that example right in here, it will continue and use this above information. So we're going to do a new chat. I'm going to go back to my Evernote and look at what I wrote. Create a timeline of the civil rights movement. You could ask that. And I would argue that depending on the grade level, you could, again, Control C, Control V, you can say for a grade 10 student, because if it's grade 3, it probably will look a little different. So, and here's a brief timeline. So it's giving you a timeline of the civil rights movement. It's giving you case law. It's giving you just case law right now. And I would actually, I like the case law, especially at this age level. So I would ask it, now do a timeline for grade 3. And it's going to keep going until it's finished, which is fine. But if I hit enter, it won't do anything until it's finished typing. And what's amazing is that it's really giving you a lot of information. But notice that it's case law. And it's even telling you it's a general overview. And you could even ask it, where are we today with the civil rights movement? So let's ask it for a timeline for grade 3. It's like, here's a simplified version for grade 3. And it's schools no longer be separated based on skin. And I just want to scroll up just a tad while it doesn't want it. There we go. And it gives you the Supreme Court here. So notice that in Brown versus Board of Education, it's saying the U.S. Supreme Court rules segregation in public schools is unconstitutional. Now it puts it in a voice of a grade 3 student. Schools no longer be separated based on skin color. And it gives you the voice almost of the person. So now what I would ask it, where are we today based on the civil rights movement from the perspective of and ... meaning whatever your race is, what you could put perspective of minoritized people, there we go. Yeah, just wanted to make sure. All right, here we go. So it's generating, so I have to scroll a little bit. From the perspective of minoritized people, progress has been made since the civil rights movement. Gives you that. Legal equity, equality, increased representation, changed attitudes. However, despite these advances, many communities of color, LGBTQ communities, and other marginalized groups continue to face persistent inequities, including, and it gives you a list. So you can, it's now just giving you information. So if it was a grade 3 child, I probably would say, do this from this perspective. So you have a lot going on here, and you may want to do this with your child in case you want to have conversations, because a younger child may not know what some of the vocabulary is. So you want to make sure that you're part of this conversation. So this was a really good information based on ChatGPT. So and those are just some easy things that you can do. And I'm saying easy, meaning you can interact. But remember, the output is only as good as the input. So if you want to make sure that your child is, maybe they're having trouble and they just got this huge assignment and they sent it home, maybe you want some creativity in a science fair because you see a lot of repeats. Create an idea of a science fair project using structure of matter. I'm inserting this here because I'm thinking high school right now, that no high school student has taken to state level in California. Let's see if it actually will do that for me, because here's an idea for a science fair project that could be considered. Investigating the effect of surface area on the strength of nanoparticles, small particles. I love this because now we're talking about nanoparticle suspension of different sizes, and it tells you what equipment you're going to need. You probably need more than this, by the way, but now this is with the understanding that the student has done research on the structure of matter, and they're obviously going to need to do some research on nanoparticles. Like, give me 5 peer-reviewed articles on nanoparticles and other research that will help strengthen the experiment. And I'm going to leave that spelled wrong because I know I'm missing the G to see if it'll figure it out. Here are 5 peer-reviewed articles that might be helpful in strengthening your experiment. Here. And now you have to go and search these. Now you could probably ask ChatGPT to summarize them, but this is where I would ask you as the parent to, and with the child, let's read these together, because peer-reviewed articles, they should have access to them and grapple with the research, because there's a lot going on in there. There's a literature review where the researcher looked at other research and then they create their own experiment, and then they give you a conclusion, or just a conclusion based on the lit review. So you want your child to do this with you. And if you can't find the articles, you may need to go to the ERIC system at a university or at a library so you can pull these out, because you may not be able to find them, but you probably can find them on Google Scholar. But I am pretty confident if I ask ChatGPT to give me a summary of these, that it would do it. So, and I did kind of an easy topic and then a more robust topic, but you could ask ChatGPT. Let's do a new chat. This one I really, really appreciate is, what about an assignment for a 5th grader where they have to create a 5-minute YouTube in science on the structure of matter. Now, I do like the structure of matter, if you've noticed. So let's try that. I'm going to put this here and then say, give an outline of the video 2. So it's giving you an introduction, explanation, overview of the structure of matter. It's telling you what you need to do. An atom, definition and description of an atom, explanation of the 3 main parts of an atom. And this is a very elementary. And what I mean by that, maybe 4th, 5th grade through 8th grade, maybe high school, but you might need to talk about the parts of the proton, neutrons, and then the relationship between all 3 with the electron. And then conclusion. So this, for me, science is my area of expertise as well, but you as the parent can drop the prompt in with your child based on what the teacher is assigning. Now, I know that this is going to really shift some mindsets, because there are a lot of educators, even including me, that are quite concerned about the possibility of taking the voice away from the child. So just kind of play with this and jump right in. I hope this was really helpful for you. If there is an issue or a problem that you're grappling with, put it in the chat. Let me help you navigate ChatGPT. We aren't all experts in the knowledge behind ChatGPT, but as educators, we can help you with the input, because remember, the output is only as good as the input. And I'm calling what you put into it a prompt. You're asking it something. Just like on an assessment, a teacher will ask a student, I need you to do this, this, and this, and then that's the prompt, and then you have to respond. take some time, play around with ChatGPT. You can't break it. It will tell you if it doesn't know. And you can even ask it, well, tell me why you don't know how to do this. You can ask it. Like I recently, if you go to I believe my TikTok, I show you that I had an argument with ChatGPT. It was hilarious. And I want you to engage in the artificial intelligence from a peer-to-peer perspective. Yeah, we're also a little leery and afraid of it. However, I am really an advocate for learning with technology to make sure that it doesn't get away from us or even just ahead of us. Let's work with it, use it as a tool, use it to help us, make sure it doesn't take away the creativity, the voice, and the imagination of your children, and as educators, our students. Thank you so much. Make sure you subscribe, like the video, share in the comments your ideas around using ChatGPT, and turn the bell on so that you can get updated on upcoming videos.